Angela, and thank you for your lovely video and your request for help with leg yield. I have to say, I absolutely love leg yield. It's such a useful exercise to help you loosen your horse's back and improve not only physical relaxation but also mental relaxation. And for anyone who doesn't know this already, leg yield appears in dressage tests at elementary level, where it's ridden parallel to the fence in trot. But it's so versatile, and you can see it adds lots of variety into your regular schooling or even when you're out hacking. So let's just recap on how you might start training the leg yield. And one of my favorite exercises is to start with turn on the 4, which is in the prelim program. And then that exercise develops into the traveling turn on the 4. And what this does is it's teaching your horse, first of all, just to understand that they can move sideways away from your legs. So that's the first thing. Then you can start to progress and ride parallel lines as they would appear in a test. So ask your horse for a little bit of flexion, and then just remember that you only want to be seeing the inside eyelash and nostril, no more than that. The rest of the horse's body should remain straight with no bending through the ribs or the neck. And your outside rein is there to prevent any neck bend and to control your horse's outside shoulder. You will then move your inside leg back, so it's very slightly behind the girth, but not too far back, so you don't want it to be on the saddle cloth. And you're using your inside leg to aid and move your horse forwards and sideways. At the same time, you as the rider can have a little bit more weight in your inside seat bone and just feel as though your inside seat bone is sinking down and encouraging your horse to step across into your outside rein, which is again, just going back to that traveling turn on the 4 exercise. That's that feeling of filling up your outside rein. So it is really important just to revisit those basics. Now, during the leg yield, it's really helpful to visualize your horse being parallel to the track that you've just left. And the horse's shoulders are actually one hoof print in front of the hindquarters. But if you have too much neck bend, then you're going to have the shoulders getting away from you. So I'll come back to that in just a second. Okay, now my first thoughts are that you are sitting lovely and straight and balanced. You have really good rider posture and your horse is in a lovely rhythm. So that is super. Now, you're quite right in your own self-assessment. What's happening after about halfway is you have a little bit too much neck bend. So then you're losing control of that outside shoulder. And then this means that the hind legs are actually getting left behind. So it's not that your lovely horse cannot cross. In this case, it's more that there's no opportunity to show the crossing because the front end is getting away from the hind end. So those shoulders are escaping. So first thing I would suggest is to focus on keeping your horse's neck straight and in line with the rest of his spine, and control the shoulder with your outside rein. You should only be asking for just that tiny amount of inside flexion at the pole and no neck bend. So it also then looks to me that your clever horse might be anticipating the movement, and this can happen after a few times of riding the leg yield exercise, especially if you ride it in the same place of the arena. And just when your horse then begins to anticipate the movement, you'll get this drift sideways, which becomes a little bit difficult to control. And your horse is then not purposefully stepping sideways on your aids. So to combat this issue, you just need to change things up a little bit. And my suggestion would be to ride just 1 or 2 steps sideways in the leg yield, and then 1 or 2 steps straight forward, and then 1 or 2 steps sideways again, and then 1 or 2 steps forward. So it becomes a little bit like a set of stairs like this. And this will help your horse to stay listening and stop them from anticipating and drifting. And it will also help you to keep straight and keep control of that outside shoulder. Finally, to really work on the crossing of the hind leg, a fantastic exercise which is in the Dressage Essentials program called Nose to Wall. And I use this exercise pretty much every day with all of the horses. And in this exercise, you're on an angle traveling down the track with the fence in front of your horse's nose. So all you need to do is focus on keeping the angle really consistent and getting the timing of your leg aid. So just as your horse is about to lift the inside leg out of the sand and to cross over, you're applying your aid. So it's a really good reminder to clean up your aids so that your horse is really light and responsive. So definitely have a look at that lesson, and you can also then progress to travers in the same way. You just change the flexion, so that can be a really useful progression for you. So I hope this video helps you, Angela. Please feel free to keep in touch, and I really look forward to helping you progress further with your training.